Hey guys, today I'm filming my single shadows of the month video for June. If you guys have never seen one of my single shadows of the month or palette of the month videos, I will have my playlist linked down below. My friend Amanda is the one that inspired me to start the palette of the month. I did that throughout the year of 2016. I really loved it, but I decided that I wanted to focus on some single shadows as well, and I'll have Amanda's channel and one of her videos linked down below. So to give you guys a rundown of the format for my single shadows of the month video, I will show you the shadows with swatches, I will give you the color description, and I will also be inserting dupe pictures. Several of my color descriptions and all of my dupe pictures are coming from temptalia.com. I'll have Christine's blog linked down below. I will also show you all the looks that I created with these shadows, and I will talk about my feelings of the formula, the texture, and the pigmentation. So for the eyeshadows that I used this month, I used 5 ColourPop Super Shock shadows, a few from palettes from theBalm and from Urban Decay, and I included some palettes because I only used one look from each palette, so definitely not enough to do an entire palette of the month video on them. Starting with the ColourPop eyeshadow in the shade Summer Lovin', this is a tie-dye eyeshadow. It was limited edition, and this is a really pretty silvery rose metallic. Here's a swatch of ColourPop Summer Lovin'. ColourPop Nillionaire is a metallic finish, and this is described as a bronze with pink and gold glitter. Here's a swatch of ColourPop Nillionaire. ColourPop Ibiza has a pearlized finish, and this is described as a bright turquoise with silver and gold duochrome. Here's a swatch of ColourPop Ibiza. ColourPop Animal is a pressed pigment finish, and it is described as an electric bright neon coral with subtle flash of gold. Here's a swatch of ColourPop Animal. ColourPop Coconut is a pearlized finish, and it is described as a bright teal. Here's a swatch of ColourPop Coconut. From theBalm, in the Balm of Your Hand palette, I am using the shade Mischevious Marissa, which is also in the Shady Lady Special Edition palette. This is described as a warm copper with a frost finish. Here's a swatch of theBalm Mischevious Marissa. From the Urban Decay Naked palette, I use the shade Half Baked, which is described as a warm copper gold. Here's a swatch of Urban Decay Half Baked. Urban Decay Naked is described as a matte neutral brown. Here's a swatch of Urban Decay Naked. Urban Decay Buck is described as a matte warm taupe. Here's a swatch of Urban Decay Buck. With these eyeshadows, I was able to create 7 different looks, and I will show you the details of all of those looks now. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lids, I'm using the Mercier Caviar stick in the shade Rose Gold. From the Urban Decay Naked palette, I'm wearing Half Baked on my lid, Naked as my transition color, and Buck as my crease color. I also blended over top of Buck in my crease with a little bit of Anastasia Bengal. This one is in the Tomato palette, but this is a shade that's sold individually. Here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the Sonia Kashuk blush in the shade Melon. On my lips, I'm wearing the Urban Decay Revolution lipstick in Naked. This is a shade that is also in their new Vice lipstick line. Here's today's look using my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Caramel Cool. On my lid, I'm using theBalm's Mischevious Marissa, which is in the Balm of Your Hand palette, as well as the Shady Lady Special Edition palette. I am also using this shade on my lower lash line to smoke out my liner. I am using MAC Soft Brown as my transition color and MAC Brown Script as my crease color. In my waterline and on the outer portion of my lower lash line, I use this Urban Decay 24/7 liner from the Jean-Michel Basquiat collection. This is in the shade Anatomy. Here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm using MAC Painted Canyon, which was a limited edition from the Vibe Tribe collection, summer 2016. On my lips, I'm wearing the ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Solow. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lids, I'm wearing ColourPop Ibiza. From the Pure Cosmetics Trolls palette, I am wearing Fuzzy as my transition color and DJ Suki as my outer crease and outer corner color. And here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the Becca Mineral Blush in Songbird. On my lips, I'm wearing the Tarte Matte LipSurgence in Exposed. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lid, I'm using ColourPop Nillionaire. In my crease, I'm using Anastasia Bengal. For my transition color, I'm using Anastasia's Birkin. And here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the MAC Simpsons blush in Sideshow You. On my lips, I'm wearing the MAC Patent Polish Lip Pencil in the shade Go for Girly. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lid, I'm wearing ColourPop Coconut. In my crease, I'm using MAC Brown Script. And as a transition color, I'm using Anastasia Birkin. And here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the MAC Blush in Cantaloupe. On my lips, I'm wearing a combination of a lip liner and a lip gloss, both from ColourPop. I lined my lips with the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Aquarius. And I filled in my lips completely with the ColourPop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Curvy from the I Love Sadahi collection. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lid, I'm wearing ColourPop Animal. For my transition color, I used Anastasia Birkin. On the inner part of my crease, I used MAC Soft Brown. On the outer part of my crease and in my outer corner, I used MAC Brown Script. And here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the Estee Lauder Pure Color Blush in the shade Pink Kiss. On my lips, I'm wearing the Clinique Pop Lipstick in the shade Melon Pop. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lid, I'm using ColourPop Summer Lovin'. In my crease, I'm using Anastasia Bengal. For my transition color, I'm using Anastasia Birkin. Here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the MAC Sharon Osbourne blush in Peaches and Cream. On my lips, I'm wearing the MAC Patent Polish Lip Pencil in the shade Fearless. So now I'm going to give you my thoughts on the colors and the formulas of each of the shadows I chose to use this month. Starting out with ColourPop shadows, the first one I have is Summer Lovin', which is a tie-dye shadow. This was limited edition, but it has been re-released several times. This is a really pretty color. It's kind of like a silvery, champagne-y rose color, but it is not that unique. So if you weren't able to get your hands on it, don't fret too much. I think you can get a very similar look with ColourPop Amaze, which is one of my all-time favorite ColourPop shadows. If you guys have not seen that video on my top 10 ColourPop shadows, I'll have that linked up here. And even though this is a tie-dye finish, it does have a little bit of glitter in it, not too much. And I didn't have a lot of fallout when I was applying it, but when I wiped off my makeup last night, even this morning, I still had some stuck on my face. So the glitter might hang around for a little bit longer than you'd like, but this was a beautiful color. This is something that I totally neglect. I don't reach for it that often, but when I wore it on my lid yesterday in my favorites video, watching back the footage, it was so shiny and so metallic. And because I'm someone that has smaller lid space, I really love when I'm wearing a reflective shadow because it draws more attention to it in a good way and not just noticing that it's so tiny. So I really fell in love with this one. I think the color was absolutely beautiful, and because I'm so fair, it can be hard to get metallic shadows to show up metallic on me if they're on the lighter side. But this one looked amazing, really easy to work with, and I just paired some warm brown eyeshadows with it. And these two eyeshadows I've talked about before, but they are some of my absolute standouts for crease and transition colors, and they're both from Anastasia. And the crease color I used is Anastasia Bengal. This is in the Tamana palette, but it is also an individual shadow. It is the most beautiful medium tone warm brown. It is amazing because it doesn't look orange or red. It does stay to a true brown, but it has a beautiful warm undertone to it. And you think that'd be very simple, but I've had a hard time finding shades that work as well as that one. And then for my transition color, I was using Anastasia Birkin, which is a very light, warm, peachy tan color that works fantastically as a very warm transition on my skin tone, again without looking too orange. Both of these shadows do the most perfect job of being a true warm brown without being too orange. It sounds so simple, but honestly it's been hard for me to find. So I have been loving those shades a lot in general, and I wasn't sure at first what colors to pair with Summer Lovin', but those worked so well. This one really surprised me as being a favorite. My next shade is ColourPop Nillionaire. This is described as a metallic finish. Recently when I went on the ColourPop website, I noticed that they changed the names of the finishes for some of their shadows, but I'm giving you the name of the finish that is on the back of my shadow. I think they may have changed this one to Ultra Glitter, which I'm glad that they did, because out of the other metallic shadows, they have a little bit of glitter, but this one has a ton. So this is a bronze eyeshadow with looks like purple, green, and gold glitter. This literally looks like Mardi Gras in a shadow. And this is so metallic, so pigmented. I could sit here and swatch it all day long because it's so creamy and buttery. But on the eye, this eyeshadow is straight from the devil. I hate it. I don't want to keep it in my collection anymore. I don't want to force myself to use it. I tried very, very hard to be very careful with this, to, you know, put down a tissue so I can catch the fallout. It didn't matter that I went through all of these extra steps to not get fallout on my face. I got glitter everywhere. It was on my forehead, on my chin, all over my face. I tried to dust it off, but this glitter was like glued down to my face, and it just was flaking off. And because of the extreme amount of glitter in this shadow and almost how creamy it is, it's easy for it to bunch and flake. And no, I hate this. I hate it, hate it, hate it. The color is pretty, but I freaking hate that glitter. So no thank you. That thing is going to be out of my life for good. Such a bummer because the color is pretty, but I just am not going to suffer working with it. My next eyeshadow is ColourPop Ibiza. This is a pearlized finish. This is what I'm wearing on my lids today. This was discontinued, but they did bring it back. I'm not sure if it's back for good or if their quantity is just still in stock, but I did check today and it is still available. Isn't this the most beautiful blue ever? This is very bright and it is very intensely pigmented, and I was really nervous about how the heck am I going to wear this. And I want to thank you guys so much. Whenever I bring you guys these shadows in my monthly makeup basket, you always leave me amazing suggestions of what other shadows I can pair with these lid shades. And I want to thank you so much for doing that because it really helps me a lot, because I'm honestly not very creative and I get inspiration trying to recreate other people's looks or from your all's comments. So thank you so much because you guys helped me out with this shadow a lot. So Ibiza was one of the very first ColourPop eyeshadows I've ever purchased. So this particular pot is starting to dry out and now it almost performs just like a regular powder shadow. So in the swatch it almost looks matte or satin, and it doesn't really look like a pearlized to me. I'm not sure if it's because I've had it for so long or if it just doesn't have a metallic sheen to begin with. Either way, I think it looks beautiful. It doesn't look too flat matte, more like a satin, but I did want to mention that. I'm not sure if it's because I've had it too long or if that's just the way it was to begin with. So the color that I decided to pair Ibiza with was an orange, and I originally thought this is gonna look crazy wearing blue on my lid and orange on my crease. No, I absolutely love it. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. I did film a tutorial on this look. You guys will see that coming in a couple days if you're interested in how to recreate this. I love it so much. I used two shadows from the Pure Cosmetics Trolls palette, which is a limited edition palette, but it is still available on their website for $29, I believe. So I'll link it down below for you guys. And I use the shade Fuzzy as my transition color and DJ Suki as my crease color. These are amazing, amazing warm shades, but they almost have a subdued burnt quality to them, so they aren't too neon. And because of that more burnt quality, they were really able to work nicely without looking like I was wearing too much crazy color on my eyes. I love them. Very nice matte shades that blended out really well. I was trying to look for other oranges in my collection, and those are the best oranges that I have that go perfectly with Ibiza on the lid. So I'm just so in love with this look, and it really made me love Ibiza even more. This is definitely a shadow I neglected because I had no idea how to wear it besides on my lower lash line. So very happy that I wore it on my lid and created this awesome look. My next ColourPop shadow is the shade Animal. This is a pressed pigment finish. This is also one of the very first ColourPop shadows that I purchased. My very first order, I purchased 6 ColourPop shadows. Ibiza and Animal were 2 of them. That was back in the day when ColourPop only sold Super Shock shadows. I think I purchased a couple months right after their brand launch. So these are old. This one also is a little bit more dried out. It's really easy to work with because it just feels like a regular powder shadow. So that's fine with me. And this really has like a matte coral base, and then it does have some gold glitters in it. It looks really pretty, and again, I'm not sure if it's because it is on the older side or if it's stirred like that to begin with, but it really does look like more of a matte base instead of having any kind of a metallic sheen to it. And I was very intimidated wearing this color. I had no idea how to make it work. I wore the shadow on my lid, and I wore a peach lip and shirt. It was kind of a lot of look, but I think it went together actually pretty well. So the shadows I paired with this were MAC Brown Script and Soft Brown, and I do really love those shadows in general, but I didn't really enjoy them with this. I think I should have gone with Anastasia, Bengal, and Birkin, but I don't think that those other shadows brought down the look. I think it still looked really cool. I tried wearing this on my lower lash line in the past, and it looked kind of odd, but all over the lid, I think it looked really, really cool. It was really bright and fun, and Justin actually complimented it, which is odd because it is so bright. But if you want something bright, I think this is really cool. I don't think that I'm loving this one as much as I fell in love with Ibiza, but I'm really glad that I wore it because I think I will reach for it more now. And my last ColourPop shadow is the shade Coconut. This is a pearlized finish. This is such a beautiful, bright, shimmery blue color. I wore this one on my lid, which was really cool because I don't often wear dark looks. I don't usually put a dark shade on my lid because I do have very small eyes. I have a small lid, but because this is this beautiful, slightly deeper, but still bright shimmery blue, it looked like the perfect deep smoky look on me because it wasn't too dark. It just worked perfectly. If it was a navy shadow on my lid, I don't think it would look good, but because this one is just a little bit lighter, more true blue, and has that metallic sheen, it worked perfectly. The perfect blue smoky look that I just absolutely fell in love with. And I also paired some warm shades in my crease. I used MAC Brown Script, which is a red tone brown. That worked really well. I loved that look. So I definitely loved wearing a warm red brown crease with this on the lid. I think that looked really pretty. I also was kind of nervous about what kind of color goes with this, and I really liked it. So I definitely recommend this shadow. I'm gonna be reaching for this a lot more. So overall, I really loved all of these ColourPop shadows except for Nillionaire. I hate this piece of crap, but the other 4 are totally neglected shadows in my collection. So I'm really happy I included them in my single shadows of the month because I created a lot of looks that I absolutely love, and I will be creating those looks again whenever I want to wear those shadows. So that is a huge bonus from this month. Lastly, we have the 2 palettes, and as I said, I created one look with each of these palettes. The first is the Balm in the Balm of Your Hand palette, which was limited edition for the holidays. I did do an entire palette of the month review video on this, so I will have that linked up here. And even though this was a limited edition palette, all of these items are some of their best sellers that are in other palettes or individual products. So the eyeshadow I chose to wear out of this palette is this shade Mischevious Marissa, which is also in the Shady Ladies Special Edition palette. I had also planned on using Lead Zeppelin from the Bon Jovi palette, but I didn't end up wearing that one. So this is the look that I've created in the past. I've done a tutorial on where I will use Mischevious Marissa on my lid, the Led Zeppelin on my lower lash line, and then I will use MAC Soft Brown as a transition color and MAC Brown Script as my crease color. I did that look minus the Led Zeppelin olive shadow because I wanted it to be super warm, and I actually used a new Urban Decay 24/7 liner in Anatomy from the Jean-Michel Basquiat collection, which is a really cool rusty orange color. I put that in my lower lash line and I loved it. I think it looks so cool. Brown Script and Soft Brown from MAC go really well with Mischevious Marissa. Loved that look so much, and it's too bad I didn't use Led Zeppelin, but I've done that before and I know I love it. So this was just a cool way to, just by changing up one part of the look, it created something extremely different, and I loved them both. Mischevious Marissa is an incredible shadow. It is so smooth and creamy. One of my favorite shadows of all time, and I really wish that one was available as a single. And the last palette I created a look from is the Urban Decay Original Naked palette. And for this look, I use Half Baked on the lid, Naked as my transition color, and Buck as my crease color. I love the formula of these shadows. I think Half Baked is very pigmented and very creamy, and Naked and Buck are really nice mattes, a little bit more on the dry side, but they are really easy to apply and blend out. So I do like the formula of those three shades, and I think the colors of those three together work out really well. Half Baked is one of my all-time favorite gold shades. I think it is so beautiful because it does have a bit of that copper mixed in with it. It just makes it a more unique gold. So I love that shade so much for the lid. And Naked and Buck I like with Half Baked, and I like them with a few other shadows, but back in the day, I used to think that Naked and Buck were very warm tone colors, and that was way before all of these really warm orangey red colors came out, and now these look like neutral undertones to me. And while I like them with Half Baked, I don't so much love them with other eye looks. This palette does have pretty colors, good quality, but this is one of my least favorite palettes in my collection. Out of all of the Naked palettes, I would rather just have the Naked 3. So I did like the look that I created. I think it was very beautiful for summertime, but this is a palette I'm not going to reach for very often, and that's because of the color selection. But those three shades paired together I think are very nice. So guys, that was my single shadows of the month for June 2017. I would love to know your thoughts if you tried out any of these shadows, and please give me some suggestions for other color combinations. I would really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.